Welcome to Azeroth United, a weekly podcast about World of Warcraft. My name is Denethar, and I am your host. Welcome to Azeroth United. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Denethar, and this is episode 29. We've got a great show lined up for you. We're going to be talking about Season of Discovery Phase 3. We're going to talk a little bit about Dragonflight Season 4. We've got the April Trading Post. We've got Noblegarden Review. We've got Mythic, Tindral, and Fyrakk Nerfs. So much going on. So sit back, pull up a chair, and relax. And as always, if you have any questions or comments about the podcast, or if you have a particular topic that you would like to hear discussed, please email me at denethar1@gmail.com, or you can leave a voice message by going to speakpipe.com/AzerothUnited. Also, if you enjoy the show, please do consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That really helps out the distribution. So if you're inclined to do so, we'd be very grateful. You can even criticize my inability to speak clearly. Before we get to the news, I wanted to do a quick rundown of what I got up to last week in WoW. I did nothing in Dragonflight. I logged on a couple times, but I never did a dungeon or anything. I was 100% Season of Discovery. I did a bunch of gold making quests on my Paladin because I knew I was going to need to get up the gold for my dual spec. I leveled up a couple alts, or I worked on a couple alts. I got my warrior to 21, and I've got my druid at 33. Yeah, it's so much fun right now. And yeah, while Phase 2 wasn't exactly the most compelling in terms of content, knowing that we have Phase 3 coming in is very exciting. So I'm really looking forward to that. I did get into a couple more Scarlet Monastery and Razorfen Downs, I think it is, the higher level one. But I did not get into Noma Raid. That's really tough. At this point in the season, nobody wants an undergeared healer, a paladin healer, showing up for Noblegarden, so fine, whatever. You can gatekeep me all you want. That's fine. I'm just going to be over here pouting. So yeah, looking forward to Phase 3, but yeah, wrapped up Phase 2 with a whole bunch of fun, and it's just, I'm really enjoying Season of Discovery. It's so good. It's just, it's really fun. Yeah, it's not perfect. There's a few things that Blizzard has done that I've gone, really? You did that? But honestly, overall, it's great fun. And even if you're not doing all of the content, like, oh, I'm doing the raid and I'm doing all these crafting quests, and it's still fun. Because honestly, I've said it before and I'll say it again, Classic WoW is my favorite version of the game. And so having a jazzed up version of Classic WoW is great. I love it. I can't always get into it. Sometimes I want to play Dragonflight, but yeah, right now I'm really in Season of Discovery mode. So, and that'll probably last through the end of Season 3 of Dragonflight. But when Season 4 comes out, I'm probably going to jump on and do a bunch of stuff in Dragonflight. So, all right, that's basically what I did. Like I said, I did not really touch Dragonflight at all. It's been all Season of Discovery. So, and it will be again next week, probably. So we'll see. All right. We got a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it.
It's time for the news.
In Blizzard news, the big news for the week, of course, is the launch of Season of Discovery Phase 3 tomorrow, April 4th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This will be a global launch, so everybody will have it at the same time. So you'll have to calculate your time zone based on 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is the time zone for Irvine, California in the U.S. So, yeah, and I'm assuming it works just like Phase 2. The new content and XP gains will just kick off at the designated time, and we'll just be off to the races. So, looking forward to that. I will have a review of what's coming in Season of Discovery Phase 3. More detailed. Blizzard did put out a post about that, so we'll be going over that in a little bit. In other news, the Dragonflight Season 4 announcement is here, so that is coming on April 23rd. Yeah, this is about what people were expecting. I wasn't sure if it would happen this week or the week after the end of Plunderstorm, but looks like we're getting it April 23rd. And that does kind of track with the overall, how do I want to say, the kind of expectations of what's coming for the summer for the rest of Dragonflight for patch 10.2.7, the War Within pre-patch, all of that. Because I think we're still, based on this launch date, I would say we're still looking at early September for a expansion launch, which means we'll get a pre-patch sometime at the end of July, beginning of August, depending on how long the pre-patch is going to go for the end of Dragonflight, the beginning of the War Within. So just a reminder, the Dragonflight Season 4 is going to have the three Dragonflight raids. They will alternate, not weekly. I think they're going to alternate bi-weekly, so it'll be every 2 weeks they'll switch. So it'll be Vault of the Incarnates for 2 weeks, then Aberrus, then Amir Dusil. And there will be a new currency that we'll get that we'll be able to use to purchase gear, and the new gear will be on a 12 upgrade track. So it's the new Awakened gear, so that way you can buy something that maybe you would get from one of the raids, and you'll be able to update it all the way to Myth 4.4 equivalent. So that'll be really cool. Obviously, you need the components to be able to upgrade that far, but as long as you're doing like a plus, I think it's a +6 keystone, you'll get a aspect crest or whatever they're going to call those. I think it's still going to be aspect. It's probably going to be awakened aspect crest, and then you'll be able to upgrade. So you just need the crest and the flight stones. So I don't think there's any new content coming in Season 4. It's just a rehash of the existing content, the 8 Dragonflight dungeons. We know that there's the new Mythic Plus, the new dungeon difficulty, including the new Mythic Plus numbering. But I mean, everything is the same. It's just it's got a different number next to it. So instead of 7 or 17, you're doing a 7. It's the same thing. So there's going to be new mounts. There's new titles. Everything is. That stuff is new, but there's no new content in terms of no new dungeons, no new raids, nothing that we've brought back from previous seasons. This is just the original 8 Dragonflight dungeons, minus the Dawn of the Infinite, which will be available on Mythic 0, but not on a Keystone. Yeah, and the thing with Season 4 is that I feel like Blizzard probably didn't intend to do a Season 4 this time around, and then when the War Within the World Soul Saga started getting planned, I think they looked at it and realized, okay, we need to take resources away from Dragonflight and put those onto the War Within. So, yeah, then we ended up with Season 4. I hope that going forward, my fervent hope is that this is not something that Blizzard has learned that they can just do. Like, oh, well, we'll do 3 content phases and then a greatest hits phase of the expansion that you're in the middle of still. So that doesn't really feel good. Like, you want to do a Season 4 that's all right, it's going to be Siege of Orgrimmar, it's going to be Hellfire Citadel, and it's going to be, I don't know, Bastion of Twilight, something. But the point being, if you want to bring back some old raids, that's fine. That's closer to new content than just the raids that we've just been doing the entire expansion, I feel like. At least I think that would excite more players. I don't mind having the original 8 Dragonflight dungeons because we never got them all in one season, and this will be kind of cool. I do hope that Blizzard takes a long, hard look at affixes for the War Within, because I don't think that they need to get rid of affixes. I don't feel like that's where we need to go. I do think that we need to adjust the class and spec requirements of those affixes. Nobody wants to change out of their preferred DPS spec for incorporeal. Nobody does. Unless you have that as part of your default build, it sucks. It doesn't feel good. Same thing with Afflicted. Nobody wants to deal with that. Bolstering, bursting, raging, those all stink. But the one nice thing about the way that they've redone the Mythic Plus numbering is that the third affix will only start at the +10 keystone. So unless you're doing pushes on rating, you're never going to see that third affix. So I don't mind having the third affix be really hard, because then it's like, okay, well, you're doing really hard content, so you get a really hard affix. That's fine. Make the middle ones hard, but not really hard. Let's make them kind of, oh, okay, this is annoying to have to deal with, but it's fine. We can deal with it. It's no problem. That's fine with me. I don't want these really hard affixes in the middle of the ranking system for Mythic Plus. So if you want to keep them at plus 10, that's fine. And if I decide I want to push my rating and do plus 10s and try and get my portals, well, now I know I have to deal with a third affix. So here you go. All right. So you will do a more comprehensive Season 4 review, or a preview, I should say, in a couple of weeks as we get closer to that and as we get more information about what exactly is coming. There's all sorts of hotfixes and changes to the tier sets that we voted on, the dungeons. There's a lot that they're still working on. They're tweaking all the numbers. So we will get into all that in a few weeks. But for now, April 23rd, which means Season 3 will end on April 22nd in the US, and I guess April 23rd in the UK. I think that's how that works. Anyway, regardless, start making your plans now because season's about to end. So if you need to push up your rating, or you need to try to whatever it is you're trying to do, this is you're now in the final countdown, as they say. So be prepared mentally for that. All right. In other Dragonflight news, we got the April trading post, and there's a lot of stuff on here. There's a lot of transmog, armor transmog. Not a lot of stuff like items. There's 2 mounts and a toy, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, it's a weird month. They did a mix of pirate gear and spring Noblegarden-esque gear. So you got your Spring Revelers sets. You've got your bicorn hat. There's a mix of the Buccaneers slops, the whatever. So we are getting kind of the same things that we've been getting, which is we're getting 2 shoulder capes, we're getting a sarong, we're getting a gown, just like we've been getting the last few months. In addition, we're getting a few actual ensemble sets. So 2 for spring, 2 for pirates. The trusty treasure trove is coming back. There's just a bunch of that. I mean, I'll put a link in the show notes, or if you want to log in and check the trading post, you can check it. But as far as trading posts go, this one's not terribly exciting. But I think this is what the trading post should be, which is, just a bunch of stuff. Maybe it's a one-off piece that you're like, hey, this will complete my transmog. Or, alternately, you're like, how cool. I always wanted more pirate transmog. Either way, this is what the trading post should be. A lot of non-essential, FOMO type transmogs and things like that, where you go, hey, this is kind of cool. Not, oh my gosh, I don't have enough. I don't have enough traders tenders to purchase all these things, and I'm so bummed now. Or alternately, they put out all the class armor and weapons, and they didn't match, and it was like, what was the point of that? I ended up not buying most of them because they just didn't look good. So this I like. This is how the trading post should be. This is what I want from the trading post. So if this is how it continues, I'll be really happy with that. There's a bunch of weapons in there. The big thing, if you haven't bought from the store, the Dreadwake mount is the flying boat mount. I'm assuming that this is going to be, they're going to figure out a way to make this boat dragon ride in the War Within, which will be really cool. I did buy this on the store a few years back, just because it's a fucking boat mount. What do you want? But now it's available for 800 Trader's Tenders. As well as another parasol, the umbrella toy from based on the one in Revendreth, and the Savage Blue Turtle Battle Turtle mount, which I don't even know what that looks like, but whatever. The point is, I think that might be a pet, not a mount. I think that might be a typo from Blizzard. Either way, there's some trading post items for April. I personally will be buying the sarong and the gown because I have to buy every single color of those. And I do like the Vagabonds camo, or I think it's the Vagabonds or the Wanderers. It's basically the helm and the cloak. I like the cloak or the hood that kind of goes over your neck, because I have a real problem with the way transmog is done in the characters have weird necklines. And I think that's something the Blizzard just struggles with. Or I'm just really weird and I don't like certain necklines. Either way, I really like the hood cloak combo that goes over your neck, because it kind of hides a lot of weirdness in some of these transmog combinations. So anyway, I don't think I'm going to buy any of the weapons. None of them look super compelling. So I don't know. We'll see. The one thing I wanted to highlight in here is the Frenzied Hat of the Deep Blue, which is a shark hat. So if that's something that you're into, it's kind of funny. And it's more of a gag, lol, meme item. But, if you're into it, go get it. Take it to your next raid. It'll be really fun. So, all right, that's the trading post for April. I don't have it written down. The Traveler Slog reward is Ara, the baby duckling. Again, this is another pet, and it's not super compelling, but you know what? If you like pets, then cool, complete your Traveler's Log, and you'll get a pet. If not, you'll still get 500 attendees for doing the Traveler's Log, and if you haven't gotten your Warden set, you can work towards getting that if you've missed a few months here and there. So, okay, yeah, that's it for the April trading post. One other thing that I wanted to bring up for, there's two items in the store, or two purchases in the store. One is the spring sale, which is a bunch of pets that are mostly spring themed. Not all of them. Some of them are just random thrown in. Alterac Brew Pup, the Bright Paw, the Little Ragnaros, Little Ursoc, Mercastraza. So depending on what you have already, it'll be discounted, your purchase of this. So I can't tell you what it's going to cost, but because it depends on what you have. But there's 17 pets total. So yeah, if you like pets, if you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't get enough of these pets in World of Warcraft, definitely go check that out. There will be a link in the show notes as well. There's the Gladiator's Ragged Armor, which is, I guess it's like the Varian Rin Logash Gladiator armor that he used when he was lost his memory and he was a gladiator with the Horde. It's available for $20 in the shop through April 30th. And I guess, like they always say, it will likely arrive in a future rotation of the trading post. So if you want it now, go ahead and get it now. If you're like, I'll wait 6 months or whatever until it shows up, then go ahead and wait if it's not that compelling to you. But it's $20. Maybe you want to grab it. It's there's nothing wrong with that. Having some cool transmog. I like transmog sets. I struggle with putting together individual pieces for transmog. So when Blizzard creates a set that works together, I really like that. But I won't be buying this because I'm not into the whole leather look. But that's me. So, all right, that is it for the news. There was something else I was going to bring up here, but I don't have it written down. And if I think of it later, I'll bring it up. All right, let's get on to This Week in World of Warcraft.
Let's talk about World of Warcraft.
All right, this is Dragonflight Season 3, Week 21. And now we know that we're only going to get through Week 23 of Dragonflight, and then that will be the end of that. So, yeah. You know what? Dragonflight Season 3, you were the best. This is so good. I got 3 characters KSM. I enjoyed this dungeon pool so much. This was such a great season. Even Rise... Even Everbloom, I loved everything. It was great. Yeah, it's gonna be sad, but well, anyway, this is week 21. The affixes for the week are Fortified, Incorporeal, and Sanguine. I'm not sure if it's Sanguine or Sanguine. Tell me how you pronounce it. Let me know. All right, Fortified. Non-bosses have more health and deal 30% more damage. You know it. You love it. You hate to see it. Incorporeal being spawned periodically and cast Destabilize. If the cast goes off, player damage and healing is reduced by 50%. The debuff stacks. The mobs do not take damage and can only be crowd controlled. So, as always, reminder that you can soft CC these guys, but a hard CC will completely end them. So, if you hit them with a Hammer of Justice, they will be stunned for a few minutes, but then they will continue to cast after that. If you hit them with a Paralyze or a Sheep, then it will get rid of them completely. So, it has to be a hard CC, but a soft CC can work to at least interrupt them a little bit. So work with your team, work with your crew. I think Turn Evil will work for Paladins. Imprison works. Any long CC. So, all right, and the third affix is Sanguine. Non-boss enemies will leave a pool of blood on the ground on death. This pool heals enemies and damages players for a percentage of their maximum health. This is just the keep on moving. Just keep on moving affix. You got to drag those mobs. If you got a monk, you got to do some Ring of Peace. Interrupt your targets if they're starting to cast a heal and they won't get out of the, or they're just a caster and they won't get out of the Sanguine. Sometimes it's difficult. Like Blackrook Hold, you've got the archers that just stand back and shoot, and if they're standing in a Sanguine pool, they will heal all the way up. Better to just target something else that's not in the Sanguine pool, kill that, and then when Sanguine goes away, go back to the archer. Because just doing damage to it, trying to overpower the Sanguine is annoying. But if you want to do that, go ahead and do it. I'm not your dad. I can't tell you what to do. Not that I can tell my kids what to do, even though I am their dad. So, you know what? Go figure. All right. The weekly events. The bonus event this week is Legion Time Walking. So you'll get the Sign of the Legion buff, which will increase reputation gains from Legion quests and combat by 50%. This is really cool if you want to go back and get Legion reputations built up for any reason, if you're trying to get those Paragon bags or whatever it is. Make sure you pick up the quest A Fell Path Through Time from Khazra and Valdrakken, which asks you to complete 5 time-walking dungeons for a cache of Emirdasil normal treasure. So if you're still looking for a piece of Emirdasil gear, or even, for whatever reason. I haven't been doing the dungeon events at this point because I feel like, why? We're going to get a 39 item level jump in Season 4, so anything I get for Season 3 at this point is kind of moot. It doesn't really matter. Unless it's a piece that I want for transmog purposes or for some other reason. Yeah, and that's fine. But, yeah, I don't feel the need to complete this at this point. I mean, I guess if I had an alt that I wanted to level up and try and get geared up for Season 4, this would be great. So if you've got an alt, or if you just really love doing time walking, yeah, this is your week. The PvP brawl for this week is Cooking Impossible. And this is one of the best. Nomi is hosting a Panda and Chili cook-off in the Valley of the Four Winds between the Alliance and the Horde. The first to bring Nomi all of the required ingredients wins. That's it. You bring him the ingredients. You can either focus on bringing ingredients or stopping the opposing team from bringing ingredients. But yeah, that's it. that's the whole thing. When you zone into the brawl, you'll pick up the quest Something Different, which asks you to win a PvP brawl, and you will be rewarded with Conquest, Honor, and Marks of Honor. So, really fun. Yeah, I love the brawls. Some of them are better than others. This is one of the best ones because it's so completely different than anything else. They can control the temple, gather all the orbs, get to the lumber mill. No, let's just go cook something and stop the Alliance from cooking. Stop the Horde from cooking. It's fun. All right. Other events this week, we have Noblegarden. So Noblegarden is basically WoW Easter. The Feast of Noblegarden has arrived, the proving grounds of each race, the place where your heroes first test their strength, holds cleverly hidden Easter treasure eggs. How many can you find? They didn't say Easter eggs. They said treasure eggs. How many eggs can you find? So the eggs contain chocolate. Chocolate is the currency. Use the currency to buy things. I did this years ago, and I can't go back and do it again. But this will go through April 8th. It's live now, so through Monday, April 8th. You can go to any of the starting zones. So Azure Watch, Dolinar, Goldshire, Karnos, Brill, Razor Hill, Bloodhoof Village, Falconwing Square, or Valdrakken to pick up the eggs and get your chocolates. So the chocolates can be used for completing the quests, purchasing the items, the rewards, the mounts, the pets, whatnot. And there's a whole list of things that you can get. But the new thing this year, in addition to Valdrakken being decked out with the Noblegarden festiveness, as they said, there's some new quests that you can pick up. There's a new boss, which is a furious duck led by furious ducks led by Dacian Swiftplume. Disrupt the Noblegarden festivities in Goldshire and Razor Hill. Discover Dacian's hideout and scare off the disruptive ducks to start the quest. What the Duck? Seek out Zinnia Brooks in Goldshire or Selnaria Fairflame in Razor Hill. So another event boss to not drop the item that you want. So there is a new dragon riding skin for, I forget which one it's for, but it doesn't matter. You're not going to get it because it's like a 1% drop rate. And I'm so tired of these event bosses. Come on, Blizzard. Do something better. Make them drop currency and okay, I need 1,000 currency to buy the dragon riding mount. Fine. But this limited time, nobody can get it. It's annoying. I'm over it. We're done here. All right. The other events on Friday, April 5th will be the March of the Tadpoles. It said March and April, and my brain just went boop. March of the Tadpoles micro holiday. So that takes place on Friday, and it's just head on over to Borean Tundra and help the Winterfin Murloc babies complete their trip across the West Rift. I forget the guy's name from the Wrath of Lich King quest will be there. The King Murgle. He'll be there, and it's just, if you're looking for something fun to do and you're tired of running Mythic Plus for the season, go out to Northrend and check out the March of the Tadpoles. The final thing is the Dark Moon Fair will kick off this Sunday. The Dark Moon Fair, it is what it is. If you haven't done the Dark Moon Fair recently, you should go check it out because you can get profession knowledge points and skill points. If you haven't completed filling up your profession skill, you can get an XP and reputation buff by riding the carousel or the roller coaster. There's lots of fun things to do. You can go watch a concert. You can kill the death metal knight. You can get shot out of the cannon, do the Dark Moon races. I mean, it's fun. I like going to the fair. If you go with friends, it's even more fun. But if you go by yourself, it's fun as well. So definitely check out the Dark Moon Fair. That'll run from Sunday to Saturday. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. So pretty cool. There's a lot going on this week, and it's just going to get busier as we go through spring. Blizzard has come out of their long hibernation, and they're dumping content on us now. So I'm all about that. So. All right, that's the events for the week. We did get a hot fix that came in yesterday, and this is huge. So with scheduled weekly maintenance on April 2nd, we made the following adjustments. So this is for Tindral and Fyrakk on Mythic difficulty. For Tindral, Fiery Growth's targets reduced to 3. It was 4. Fiery Growth's damage reduced by 20%, Falling Star's damage reduced by 15%, and Pulsing Heat's damage reduced by 10%. That's huge nerfs. It's really going to help the healing on that fight. So any guilds that are trying to prog on this last minute, maybe this is your chance. For Fyrakk, Shadow Cage now lasts 12 seconds. Flamebound now increases damage taken from Flame Orbs by 5%. Shadowbound now increases damage taken from Shadow Orbs by 5%. Blaze damage decreased by 20%, and the maximum health of the Darnassian Ancients was decreased by 20%. So, yeah, this is pretty significant. I mean, those Flamebound and Shadowbound, they're going from 30% to 5%. The damage increase. That's huge. So good luck if you're trying to get your cutting edge before the end of season 3. This is your last best chance. You've already got the gear. You've already got, the strats. Just get in there and do it. So best of luck to those guilds. All right, that's going to. I think that's it for the week. So let's move on to something new.
Let's talk about something new.
Mark your calendars for April 4th when Season of Discovery Phase 3 goes live at 9 p.m. British Standard Time. I love how this post comes from the EU. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to get to I'm sorry, I keep saying Season 3. You know what? Blizzard, make it all either seasons or phases or something, but get consistent, please. Phase 3 will go live on April 4th. It'll be 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. for me. Yeah, all over the world at the same time, global launch. Adventurers can level from 41 to 50, earn up to 10 additional talent points, brave new encounters in the Sunken Temple as a new 20-player raid dungeon, discover new runes and abilities, and more. Okay. This is a big phase. So phase 2, I think, got a lot of criticism for being a little lackluster. It's like, okay, well, we got Scarlet Monastery, we got Razorfen Downs, we got the Noblegarden raid. I don't know. I liked the content in phase 2, but yeah, it didn't have legs. There was not a lot that you could just repeat, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. People were running Maraudon at level 60 in Classic still. Blackrock Depths, even Zul'Farrak for a couple of pieces. So this will be huge. This is a really big update. There's a lot in here. We're just going to go over some of the basics. There's new runes. I'm not going to go over the specifics of all the runes because that's for you to discover, but each class will have at least 6 new runes. From what I've seen so far, I'm looking forward to the Paladin runes, but I am working on my warrior now, and I'm working on my my druid. So we'll see what's in store for those classes. All right, the big PvE event is the Nightmare Incursions. A new activity called Nightmare Incursions have been added. Each enter missions to face off against the new demon creatures that have taken up residence just outside the dream portals in each zone. Players who wish to participate in these activities should seek out field captain NPCs a short distance away. Okay, so the two things. One, so we're going to have a new faction, which is the Emerald Wardens, which you'll get reputation with, and then that'll, whatever the reputation level it is, you'll get different rewards. The content is level banded. And what that means is Duskwood is about level 25, Ashenvale is about level 40, and Feralus and the Hinterlands are about level 50. I wasn't sure how they were going to do this in terms of, because they said level 25 to 50 players would be doing the incursions. So I was like, well, is it going to be scaling the levels of the mobs, or how are we? No. So if you're level 25, go to the Duskwood one. Level 40 Ashenvale, and level 50 Feralus and Hinterlands. And I guess, like, if you're 32, you'd probably go to Duskwood. But if you're 37, you'd probably go to Ashenvale. So I guess we'll see. We'll see how that looks, how that plays out. But I'm hesitantly excited about this because so Blizzard is not great at adding PvE events, as we've seen through Dragonflight. It's nice that there are so many of them, but so many of the ones that they've added are kind of, it's not really. I'm looking at you, researchers under fire, Fyrakk assaults. So we'll see. They said the mission quests related to the content are considered elite quests, so going into the Nightmare with a 3 to 5 player group is recommended. So it is going to be challenging. You'll have to get into a group. There will be a million people standing outside looking for a healer or looking for a tank or whatever. But yeah, that's the new PvE event item. Yeah, it's really fun. There will be a new currency that you can use to purchase your stuff. It's the it actually doesn't say what it is, but yeah. So go check that out when you get into the game on Thursday, and yeah, it'll be pretty exciting. Okay, so the new raid is Sunken Temple, or the Temple of Hatal Hakar. A new level 50 level up raid is available in Phase 3. This is a newly revamped 20-player raid in the classic Temple of Hatal Hakar dungeon with all new encounters, mechanics, and of course new loot. So we did get a couple of Datamined loot modifications, and basically, yeah, they're just doing what they've done in the past, which is they're modifying the existing loot to make it a little bit better, removing a lot of spirit from gear because they've realized that hunters and warriors don't want spirit. And honestly, even casters to some degree don't really want a whole lot of spirit, especially not at this level. At level 25, having a lot of spirit was great because your regen was really fast. But now, no, you need spell power. You need strength, agility, attack power, whatever your class uses. That's what you need. I mean, I've said it before. Classic is solved. And so even though Season of Discovery has new gear and new items and they're changing the itemization, we know what we need. If I'm a hunter, I know I need agility, I need attack power, I need crit, I need hit. It's known. This is not a mystery. Yeah. So one thing I did see, and I don't know if I have this listed down below, but oh yeah, they did. Okay, we'll get to that. Okay, so that's Sunken Temple. I think it's 7 bosses, or is it 8 bosses? Either way, it's gonna be really fun. I'm really looking forward to that. And the 20-player raid is something that I'm really nervous about because I know a lot of guilds have one solid 10-man or 10-player raid and one 10-player raid. So trying to get all of those people into one raid together, and how many of those 2 raids have somebody's alt in them. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. For class changes, so there are a few class adjustments coming in. These are just some of the changes that they're making, but these are like the main, the most impactful changes. For hunters, Sniper Training Rune no longer grants 10% critical strike after not moving for 6 seconds. Sniper Training now grants a stacking 2% increased critical strike chance every 2 seconds when not moving, and when the hunter moves, they lose 1 stack of Sniper Training per second. So they're really trying to get people to play Ranged Hunter, which I think is cool. I love Ranged Hunter. True Shot Aura now grants an additional attack power benefit to the hunter that is providing the aura buff. So rather than just relying on someone else to do it, you're like, no, I will do the True Shot Aura. For Shaman, the Spirit of the Alpha rune, the loyal beta effect that the Shaman would gain upon casting Spirit of the Alpha on another friendly target now grants a flat 5% damage bonus to the Shaman who cast it. So it was attack power, now it's damage because they're trying to they want to control how much attack power the Shaman have. The Lava Lash rune has been adjusted, so now deals 100% off hand weapon damage on hit. This damage bonus is now increased to 125% if your offhand weapon is enchanted with Flame Tongue. So again, trying to get you to do something other than Rock Biter. So Shaman needed to get a nerf, and everyone knew it. Even Shaman were like, "This is ridiculous." So I'm glad to see this, but it's never happy for a class when you get nerfed. It doesn't feel good. But I think with Season of Discovery, one of the things that's really interesting is if they do it in the phases. Each phase is like a new. It's a new game because you've got 10 more talent points in this case. So you have access to different things than you would have. So different classes are going to go up or down depending on which talents they are now able to access, or which talent combinations, because you could access everything in a tree before, but now you can access different combinations. You go, oh, well, if I do, this many points in this tree and this many points in this tree, I can get this new talent and whatever. For the Shaman, the developer's note here says damage of Lava Lash should be essentially the same, but we've instead shifted more of the damage to this ability to the bonus game using Flame Tongue on the offhand. Wave the Earth rune now requires a shield in the offhand to gain this ability's beneficial effects. Rock Biter weapons attack power has been reduced. It's just so simple, but it's so much. Developers note most of the adjustments to Rock Biter weapon, Lava Lash, and Loyal Beta have been made to further incentivize the usage of Wind Fury weapon and Flame Tongue weapon when dealing damage. Shaman were able to reach very high attack power numbers by utilizing double Rock Biter weapon and multiple stacking percentage buffs to attack power. This incentivized the use of the tanking imbue for DPS, which led to a variety of issues. With the addition of mental dexterity to this phase, we felt the need to tone down Shaman attack power numbers and further incentivize using weapon imbues that are more geared towards damage dealing. So there you go. It is what it is. We'll see how it plays out in the next couple weeks. For Warlocks, Lake of Fire rune. Lake of Fire now requires that the Warlock channel the full duration of Rain of Fire to gain the increased fire damage benefit. And Metamorphosis rune, Warlocks may no longer gain the benefit of Soul Link while in Metamorphosis form, which I don't think it really makes any difference. For warriors, Shield Slam talent bonus threat calculation has been redesigned for Season of Discovery. Shield Slam now gains a percentage bonus to threat that will allow it to scale as tank damage and block values increase. Additionally, Shield Slam now gains double benefit from block value, meaning a single point of block value now gains shield damage, increases Shield Slam damage by 2 rather than by 1. Doesn't matter. Warriors still aren't going to take it. You're still going to go Fury Prot. It's just, yeah. So, Blizzard really needs to figure out these protection trees for warriors and paladins. They're both just terrible. It's not about surviving damage. It's about how much threat can you do. And these trees just do not do enough threat. Now, we'll see. Maybe Shield Slam will work. Maybe somebody will try it and they'll go, hey, actually, this isn't too bad. I don't know. I don't know that you'll be able to beat the amount of damage coming out with Fury Prot. But, yeah, we'll see how it goes. The Noblegarden Profession recipes sold by Ziri the Wrench Little Sprocket after players complete the quest salvaging the Salvage-matic have been significantly reduced in price, and an additional teleport has been added to the base pillar where Wordle Warder Gear resides in Fairless to allow players who fall off to get back up without needing to travel away to Booty Bay and be teleported. So, yeah, just some little changes there. The Blood Moon event, the existing Bloodstained commendations have been removed from the vendor list. These commendations have been replaced with a new version of the Bloodstained commendation that is now purchasable with a new Massacre coin, which is the new level 50 currency. Please note that any existing Bloodstained commendations players have in their inventory will, when patch 1.15.2 is released, will now have a 2-week real-world duration and will expire. After that time and disappear from your inventory. Please use these coins before Tuesday, April 16th. And this is what they told us when they announced Phase 3. I did it again, damn it. This is what they told us when they announced Phase 3, is that we'll have 2 weeks to use these coins, or these commendations, and then they'll go away. So they wanted to give us the opportunity to use what we had, but yeah, we got 2 weeks. Additional rewards have been added to Mazin, the vendor, available at level 50 for using the new Massacre coin currency. For the Battle of Ashenvale, the quest for repelling the invaders and clear the forest may now be completed daily instead of weekly, so that's pretty cool. For quests, so the repeatable Wastewater Wander Pouches and the Troll Necklaces quests are both no longer granting XP, because they didn't want people to stack those up and then be able to get to level 50 right off the bat. So they did announce that in the Phase 3 announcement, but in case you hadn't heard it, you cannot level up using those quests. In addition, the Warsong Gulch and Arathi Basin Marks of Honor quests no longer grant XP, which, whatever. Again, it's the same thing. Don't save up currency to try and get to max level as fast as possible. All right. Here's the big one that I wanted to mention earlier. The level 50 class quests from Sunken Temple will now grant all loot options to the players rather than having a choice. And the reason for this is what they say. One common issue with these quests is that some of the rewards could be a bit of a trap to newer or less experienced original WoW players. There are a few trinkets in particular that may not look appealing at first glance, but have a lot of ongoing power or utility. Less experienced players will often pass on those rewards in favor of a more immediate armor upgrade, only to find out later that they made a mistake. Because these quests are now raid quests that oftentimes take players deep within the new raid, we felt that it was appropriate to be a bit generous here to allow players to gain all 3 rewards for their class quest. Please note, we did not adjust these rewards at all for Season of Discovery, as most of them are already quite powerful. I was wondering if they were going to adjust these or not, but I guess the answer is not. But yeah, this is really cool. There was a few of these where you go, ooh, I get a new neck, or I get a new, there's a mage wand that you can get from one of them. Yeah, they're absolutely right. Some of these are traps, and some of these trinkets are so good that you just don't realize how good it is. The Hunter one in particular, I know that there's 2 trinkets in there. One for, I think it makes your next move crit, and one for makes your pet's next move crit. Like, well, now you can just have both of those trinkets on. So, yeah, this is pretty big. So, if you are not familiar with those quests, it's a every class at level 50 gets a quest to go into the Sunken Temples. You have to do a bunch of stuff beforehand, a whole quest chain, and then once you get to the last step of the quest chain, it's go into the Sunken Temple and do whatever, and then you get to pick one of these items. So now you just get all 3, which is awesome. I love it. I love when Blizzard gives us things as, all right, you can just have the thing. You know, we're not going to gatekeep you. We're not going to be difficult. It just have the thing. It's fine. I love that. So, all right. A couple more things here. Dungeon loot updates. So any items found in Zul'Farrak, Uldaman, and Maraudon, as well as Blackrock Depths, have been revamped and updated with new stats. So basically, like I said, they're taking out some spirits, removing agility on caster gear, removing just changing things up to be weird. One of the ones that I saw that was actually really interesting was the Gizlock's Hypertech Buckler, which is the shield that drops in Maraudon, and it used to be MP5. Now has spell power, which I thought was kind of interesting because I always felt like that was a really good healer shield because it got you more mana. But now it gives you spell power. So I have a link to a Wowhead article where they've data mined a bunch of these. If you want to see, if you don't, you want to be surprised, then don't click on the link. But yeah, there's some really cool ones here. The BRD, the Blackrock Depths loot that they listed on here is primarily limited to the cell block area of Blackrock Depths, and I suspect that's because at level 50 we're not going to be able to go very far into BRD. I can't imagine that we're gonna be able to go all the way through to the Emperor. I think he's like level 59, so I'm sure somebody will do it because WoW players are crazy. But yeah, the updated items are primarily in the that they found are primarily in the beginning of the dungeon. So okay, PvP honor system. With the release of Season of Discovery Phase 3, players will again gain the ability to rank up the PvP honor system, with the rank cap being increased to rank 7. So there will be the new PvP gear. So it's a set. It's got a lot of stam on it, which is great because a lot of the PvP gear right now has no stam. It's just spell power or attack power or whatever. So this will be really big for players trying to not get one shot by mages in either in Battlegrounds or in the Blood Moon event. I cannot bring myself to go do. I might try and do it tonight. One time before the Phase 3 hits. I don't know. I hate PvP events like that. I like Battlegrounds because I can kind of hide in the crowd, but with that, I feel so vulnerable. So, okay. So basically, honor system going up to rank 7, and then there will be new gear available at level 50 that you could buy. So that's really cool. I like that. I might go ahead and do some PvP this time around. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still scared. Maybe I can get into a good group and they'll take me and not complain about my shitty heals. Okay, and then finally, dual talent specialization. There's not a lot to say on this. Everybody wanted it. They gave it to us. You have to be level 40, and it's going to cost 50 gold, and you have to go to, where is this? Grendag Brightbeard, who is either going to be in Ironforge or Orgrimmar, I guess. That's weird. Why would a dwarf be an Orgrimmar? What are you doing, Blizz? You ruined my game. Yeah, so I'm just like, this doesn't make sense. So Grendag Brightbeard, who's in Ironforge or Orgrimmar. Either way, maybe he's not actually a dwarf. Maybe he's a dragon. All right. So that's it for Season of Discovery Phase 3. There's a lot of changes coming in. I'm really excited about the Sunken Temple. I can't wait to get in there. I like 20-player raids better than 10-player. I know a lot of people are like, oh, 10-player is the best. It's really hard. If you're in a group or if you're in a guild that has a solid 10-player raid, like as a healer, it's really tough to get in because they already have the 2 healers. So I'm the third wheel on that, and it doesn't feel good. So having 20-player raids, you're going to need 4 healers now, and that gives you a lot more flexibility if somebody's out. So if you want to try and get into a group, I feel like it opens up more opportunities for players. Still only 2 tanks. most likely. So, good luck getting a tank spot. But yeah, that's how it goes. So that's how it's always been in WoW. I'm just saying. All right, so that will. I'm so excited about this. I want it to be live today. I just, what are you gonna do? All right, that's it for the something new. Let's move on to the weekly rant.
It's time for the weekly rant.
All right, I've seen a lot of discussion, and I mentioned this last week, but this whole concept of the overcomplexification of WoW, how the raid bosses are harder, the classes are harder, and yeah, people who are really good at WoW or who are really familiar or comfortable with playing the game, they're really good at it. You watch people doing 29 keystones or 32 keystones or mythic rating, and you go, wow, that's so cool. And the people who do these things might not really think it's a big deal, but having gone back and forth between Dragonflight and Season of Discovery for the last few months has really shown me Dragonflight is way overly complicated. And it's not just a matter of, there's too many spells. I don't mind there being a lot of spells. I'm not going to advocate for Asmongold's let's reduce the number of spells down to 10. And he was, of course, talking about your rotational spells. And I get that. And sometimes when you say things on the internet, people are going to twist it into whatever they want to infer that you said. But regardless, there's too many things in Dragonflight. I'm just going to say it. When your rotation is so complex that you can't effectively do it without a weak aura, that's a problem. If you have your rotation so complex that if you miss a step, your DPS tanks, that's a problem. Now, yeah, okay, so having the classic style of combat, which is primarily you're going to either auto attack or you're casting the same spell over and over and over and over again, but you're just putting in some filler spells every now and then. Okay, so maybe we could have somewhere a more happy medium. But honestly, I feel like the combat in WoW should feel good. It should flow well, regardless of what version of the game you're playing. So if you want to make Dragonflight more complex, that's fine. Make it more complex. But having these really complicated interactions, I think, is a problem. Because it's not a matter of, and elite players can do this. It's, if you don't do this, we won't take you. If your DPS is too low, if you're not using this cooldown as often as people think you should, it becomes a problem. And it's something that I've seen over and over and over again. And honestly, this is one of the reasons why I started playing Fury Warrior. And I've been trying to work on my Fury Warrior, and it's really frustrating because I get in there and I do really well on the DPS, and then some fights or some trash pulls, I will hit a wrong button. One wrong button, and now I'm third on DPS or fourth. If it's a really bad mess up, it's not like I don't know how to play a Fury Warrior. It's that Fury Warrior isn't even that complicated. It's just that if you make one mistake in your rotation, it screws everything up. You use up. So, as an example, for a Fury Warrior, you have right now Odin's Fury, and Odin's Fury gives you 3 increased bloodthirst. Or 3 usages of bloodthirst that have increased damage. Now, with that being said, if you use Rampage first, then your bloodthirst turns into bloodbath, and if you use bloodbath, it does a lot more damage. So you have your 3 charges of improved bloodthirst. You should be using them with bloodbath. But if you hit a rampage and you do your bloodbath, and then you hit a rampage, you do your bloodbath, and then for some reason you accidentally hit your bloodthirst button, you've now wasted one of your bloodbath charges or one of your increased damage charges from Odin's Fury. The point is, it's something so small and so seemingly insignificant could have a big impact on your damage. And I'm not saying, oh my gosh, Blizzard needs to fix Fury Warrior because I'm terrible at it. What I'm saying is, it's really easy to make a mistake, to slip up, to hit the wrong button, or to think you hit Rampage and then, I didn't. I had to build a weak aura that literally pops up my bloodthirst when it's available, But if I have Odin's Fury, my Odin's Fury charges for Bloodthirst, it makes that icon go away, and it only pops up my Bloodbath icon if I've previously done or if I've converted in Bloodthirst into Bloodbath from Rampage. In other words, I have to have a weak aura to make myself not make mistakes. So, yes, can you feel it without having a weak aura? Sure. I'm sure it's possible. But I think that's the problem, is that most of the player base cannot. And so, and this is a really basic example because honestly, Fury Warrior is a really simple class to play. As long as you're popping your Whirlwind, you're going to do AoE damage as long as you're using your Execute when you need to. I mean, it's a really simple class, but there's a lot of things in there that make it easy to make mistakes. Sometimes I forget the number of Whirlwind charges I have. You get 4. So if you hit Whirlwind, you have 4 AoE charges. So you use your 4. If you've used your 4th one, then you hit a big move like a Bloodbath. Now that only affects one target instead of all your targets. So you've got to make sure you're weaving in your Whirlwind in there. And the point is, there should be a better way. If they're going to make things this complicated, there should be a better way to keep track of them. Or don't make them this complicated. Every class going in there has all of these crazy AoE requirements. Say, you have to do all this. If you're not doing 400, 500, 600k damage on trash mobs, you're basically worthless. All right. I mean, I get it. It's a little frustrating. So my point in the whole thing is not that Blizzard needs to make the classes easier. It's that they need to make things more accessible. They need to make it so that when players are going in here and doing stuff, they're here to have fun, not keep track of cooldowns. That's not fun. What is fun is having a really cool cooldown button to press and not being like, well, now I have to wait 30 minutes to do it again, which is what you get in Classic. So instead you go, hey, here's a really cool button that I pressed. I'm going to press it again in a few minutes. Not, you didn't push your button enough times. Oh, the dungeon lasted for 20 minutes and you only used it 6 times. You're a worthless garbage player. Delete your game. And yeah, okay, so some of this is community created because people are toxic. Okay, I will allow that. But honestly, nobody wants to go in with somebody who doesn't really know their class inside and out. Nobody wants to be in a group where they're like, this warrior is not using their cooldowns properly. This mage is not using their Sun King's blessing properly. Whatever it is. This paladin hasn't used their wings in 3 minutes. What the heck is going on? Nobody wants to be in a group with that person. And that's my whole point, is that even if we're not being toxic about it, it's still frustrating to watch somebody be bad. Right? And like I said, I'll be the first to admit it. I'm bad. I'm bad at World of Warcraft. I do well enough to be able to complete content, but I would never consider myself to be an elite player. I'm not one of these top, I'm not sitting here on a podcast and acting like I'm Dratnos or something. No, that's not me. I will fully admit I'm bad at this game. But at the same time, I should be allowed to have fun too, which means that if the game is too complicated and a lot of players who are not these elite players can't do the rotations, like you could do the basic rotation and you'll do just fine for beginner to medium content. But as soon as you want to increase your content, which is where the game tries to push you, it's too hard. It's too hard to consistently do it. I can do it, but I can't do it consistently. I will always make a mistake. I will always screw up. I will be third in damage on the trash pulls because not only do I make a mistake, once I realized I've made a mistake, now I'm thrown off. Now I'm like, which button do I press? Where am I in my rotation? I can't feel it anymore. The recovery is difficult. So my point is that Blizzard should really look at making the game more accessible. It doesn't have to be easier. I don't need to reduce the number of spells, but make it more accessible. Make it so that it's really obvious when I need to push a button. Make it so that I can make it something that I could enable or disable in the interface. No, I'm an elite player. I don't need help. Fine. Then turn it off. But I shouldn't have to rely on weak auras to make my class playable. I've had to learn how to make weak auras for every single class that I play because of this, including the stupid monk, which is going to punch stuff. I mean, come on, how basic can you get? But I do. I need it. I need to track my healing cooldowns. I need to know when to, because Jadefire Stomp will come back up, but do I need to use it right now? No, because I still have ancient teachings on, so I've got to wait. And that one's obviously not as complicated, and I'm just at this point complaining because, you know, I'm frustrated with where the game is, and going to Season of Discovery and playing and watching how easy the rotations are, but not simple. They're easy and accessible. Oh, hey, I can tell when my big cooldown is up because it comes up every 8 seconds. Up there, I hit it again. Up there, I hit it again. Not, okay, well, if you do these 9 things, one of these 9 things could reduce the cooldown of your next move, but only if you're doing these other 7 things. And then it's just frustrating. So I agree with Asmongold to the point that Blizzard needs to do something about the complexity of WoW. I don't think we need to reduce the number of spells down. I don't think we need to get rid of all add-ons, although I'm not opposed to that. And I don't think we need to go back to 40-player raids. I think Blizzard needs to make the game more accessible. They need to work on their interface. They need to make it so that people can figure out what they're doing, and they're not punished for making a mistake. Instead, they should be rewarded for doing things well. And that should be more of a rare occurrence where you go, hey, I did an extra special move that increased my damage, not now I'm expected to do this every single time. It's the same as the legendary. It's no longer, hey, cool, I got a legendary. It's, ah, shit, I don't have the legendary yet. It just feels bad to not have rather than feeling good to have. And it's the same thing with the combat system. It feels bad to make a mistake and to not have your rotation be perfect, rather than feeling good to, man, I hit all my cooldowns just right. This feels really good. No, the dopamine goes the other way. And now we're trying to not screw up instead of being proud that we did well this one time. So, all right. Look, I could go on this, and honestly, this is a topic that I will probably bring up pretty often because it's really important to me that this game is fun. Because I love playing World of Warcraft in so many different iterations of it. I love playing it. But I get frustrated. And maybe the new Season 4 dungeon changes will help because, okay, there won't be the affix, so maybe people will calm down a little bit if things aren't super, top shelf. But regardless, I really think that it would do the game well for the long-term health and longevity of the game to make some of these combat systems a little bit more accessible. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you tuning in. As always, it's my pleasure and my privilege to get on this microphone and talk to you. So if you would like to talk back to me, if you want to send me an email, you want to contact me about anything, you can email me at denothar1@gmail.com. Or you can reach me at Twitter. I am at Denothar. I will occasionally stream still. It's primarily going to be on Twitch, but sometimes on YouTube. And those are both at Denothar01. And so that's it. So thank you again for listening. I really appreciate it. Remember to be kind to each other out there. Just like I always say, that's a real person on the other side of that keyboard. So just know that they have feelings too, and maybe they're struggling with their combat rotation. So it's okay to just smile and go, all right, you know what? I know you're trying. So it doesn't hurt to smile. So just remember that. All right, take care. Have a good week. Enjoy Season 3 of Season of Discovery, or if you're looking forward to Phase 3 of Season of Discovery or Season 4 of Dragonflight, whatever you're looking at, have fun with it. So, all right, take care all. I love you, and I'll see you in Azeroth.